let's make our way to a nice, comfortable seat. So coming to sit up on a little bit of height, a block, a blanket, something underneath your sitting bones. So I am just getting back from retreat in Guatemala. I was there last week. And it made me think about, or every time I travel or lead a retreat somewhere different, I think a little bit about this yoga philosophy of, oh my goodness, now the word is totally escaping me. It's the first Klesha. It's not a Smita. It's not a Binivesha. It's not Raga or Dvesha. Anyways, the first Klesha, I'll remember what it was later, and I'll let you know in the class. The very first Klesha, and the Kleshas are obstacles to our spiritual practice. So Patanjali talks about the Kleshas as the challenges we face because we're human that make our spiritual practice or growth more challenging. And the very first one is ignorance or delusion. And we speak about this often in terms of believing our thoughts as absolute truths, or falsely identifying with our thoughts, believing we are somehow our thoughts, or somehow believing our opinions as absolute truths in the world, and not realizing or forgetting that we see the world through a specific lens, and other people see the world through a slightly different lens or a very different lens, and that all of that is simply the lens through which we view the world. It's not necessarily true or not true. And so when we begin to peel back these layers or try to clean off our glasses, then we can get closer to reality. And I was thinking about this just in terms of how useful it is to travel to places that are different than where you live culturally, because it forces you to try on a slightly different perspective, to see the world in a slightly different way, to see that life different than yours is also possible and beautiful and good. And so I was just thinking about that in terms of, one of the gifts of travel and being on retreat is not only that we get this opportunity to nourish ourselves and to rest deeply and to focus on our practice without, other people needing stuff from us, or without having to tend to some of our, very basic human needs like cooking and cleaning, etc. But that also, that putting yourself in an environment that might be different or slightly uncomfortable, for example, traveling in a country where you don't speak the language, being with people that are new to you, eating food that's different, all this kind of stuff, it forces us to question sort of the status quo of our own lives. And that challenges that first Klesha that I can't remember how to say it in Sanskrit. It's going to pop into my mind shortly, I'm sure. And that's a real gift. And every time I get to go away and be on retreat, it opens me up to see possibility in places that I'd never seen before. So I wish for all of us that we have those opportunities in our lives. All right, let's go ahead and come to our comfortable seat. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes. Hands can rest on your heart, or you can bring your hands together in a prayer position. And just feeling the energy of your breath, the movement of your rib cage as it expands and releases. And breathing here in and out through the nose. And settling yourself in this moment, right now, right here, wherever you are in the world. And we'll take a single Om all together. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale for nothing. Inhaling for Om. And exhaling, releasing your hands, softening the muscles of your face and your forehead as you let your eyes open. And we're going to stay seated, but we'll come off whatever we're sitting on. And I'm just going to change my camera angle. So you're not going to be sitting on any height, but I want you to bring your right leg so that the shin is parallel to the front of your mat. And then you can take your left leg behind you with the knee bent at 90 degrees as well. Okay, you know what? I'm going to actually do this facing this direction so I don't have my back to you guys. Okay, so front leg is bent, knee at 90 degrees, back leg, knee bent at 90 degrees. If that feels too demanding from the hips, you can bring the feet in a little closer. That will ask less of your hips. And then you can start with your hands behind you on the floor. So you're leaning back a little bit into your hands. And I want you to push your right leg down, knee pushes down into the floor. We'll start to lift the left knee, rotating through that left hip. And then eventually the right leg will have to lift and will come up and will be now facing the left leg. And then we'll push the left knee down into the floor and start to lift that right leg. And then we'll rotate through the hips and we'll come to face the right side. Push the right leg down, start to rotate the left and twist. And we're going to keep doing this. I just want to check that the right microphone is being used. Okay, great. And let's do one more on either side like this. Good. Okay. And then come back to facing so the right leg is in front. And if you've kind of inched your way off your mat, then you can scoot yourself back and reset. And now we're going to try to do it with less support from the hands on the floor. So either taking one hand to the floor and one hand to your chest, or you could take both hands across your chest, or just have your hands off the floor, whatever works for you. And we'll push that right leg down towards the floor, start to work that left leg, rotate and twist facing the left, and then press that left knee down, start to work that right hip and come and face the right. And then we'll keep going. So trying to work this through the hips with as little support from the hands on the floor as possible. Let's do one more in either direction. I'm inching myself off my mat. That's okay. Push down and rotate. Okay, so when we come back to facing the right, we'll pause there and then we'll make our way down onto our backs. So come and lie down on your back, bringing your feet to about hip distance apart. Press the heels down into the floor, pull the pubic bone up towards the belly button. And then we're going to send the pubic bone through the legs and arch into the lower back. And then pull the pubic bone up, press the lower back down. And then send the pubic bone through the legs, arch into the lower back. And we'll just do that a few more times. Feeling that movement through the pelvis and the lumbar spine. Okay, and then pull the pubic bone up, press the lower back down, inhale here, exhale, engaging pelvic floor, deep abdominals like you're zipping up a tight pair of pants, and then we'll float one leg towards tabletop, float the second leg towards tabletop, we'll lift the arms up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to exhale, lower the right arm and the left leg, and inhale to lift, and exhale to lower the other side, and inhale to lift, and we'll just alternate here side to side. Breathing in and out through the nose. trying to keep the lower back pressing down into the floor and trying to minimize any shifting left to right. Good, keep going. Nice and slow and controlled. Breathing in and out through the nose. Maintain that lower back pressure into the floor. Minimize that shifting left to right. Okay, we'll do 2 more on either side and even ourselves out. Last one. That's it. All right. And then we'll slowly release the arms, release legs. You can windshield wiper left to right again a couple times. Good. And then let's roll over to the right-hand side. You can either let the head rest on the arm or prop the head up on the hand. Finding a neutral spine. Knees are bent in towards the chest. Let's roll that top hip slightly forwards. Exhale, engaging pelvic floor, deep abdominals. Maybe the feet lift off the floor, maybe not. Your choice. And then the knee lifts and lowers and lifts and lowers. And we're trying to rotate the thigh bone in the hip socket without letting the pelvis move, warming up those outer hip rotators. Breathing in and out through the nose. Keep going. Okay, let's do 3 more like this. And then keep the knee lifted. Lift the foot up above the knee. We're going to go knee down, heel down, knee down, heel down. Rotating that thigh bone in and out in the hip socket. Breathing through the nose. Let's do 3 more. Trying not to move the pelvis, just rotate the thigh bone. Last one, relax, release, pat it out. And then bringing your knees potentially a little closer in towards your chest, interlock the hands behind the head, and we'll inhale, rotate open towards the ceiling, and exhale to close. And inhale to open, and exhale to close. Breathing through the nose, rotating through the thoracic spine, warming up that part of our spine that articulates with our rib cage. That's it. A few more. Keep going. Trying not to move the hips and the knees as we just find this rotation through the thoracic spine. Okay, 3 more, last 3. Last one. And then we'll slowly come back in and roll over to the other side. So stacking the knees, stack the hips, head either rests on the arm or propped up on the hand, your choice. Roll that top hip forwards, exhale, engaging pelvic floor, deep abdominals, feet lift or not, your choice, and then the knee lifts and lowers. And we're trying to find this external rotation of the thigh bone in the hip socket without letting the pelvis move. Breathing in and out through the nose. Finding those external hip rotators. Keep going. That's it. Maybe noticing if one side feels stronger or weaker than the other. This is my weaker side, and I'm Feeling it for sure. Okay, 3 more like this. And then keep the knee lifted. Lift the foot up above the knee, and then we go knee down, heel down, knee down, heel down. Rotating that thigh bone in and out, in and out. That's it. Keep going. Last 3. Last 2. Whew, last 1. All right, relax, release, pat it out. And then let's interlock the hands behind the head. Maybe bend the knees in a little closer towards the chest. Inhale, rotating open towards the ceiling. And exhale to close. And inhale to open. And exhale to close. And keep working through that. Breathing in and out through the nose. Keep going. Maybe noticing if one side, how the movement feels on one side compared to the other. For me, this side feels stiffer. I have less movement in this direction. So I just take note of that. And then when I practice on my own, I actually try to do this side for longer. Or sometimes I might even do this side twice to try to work on that imbalance. Keep going. Okay, let's do 3 more on this side. Last one. And then we'll come back in and we'll make our way up onto our hands and our knees. Feel free to pad your knees with your blanket if you'd like. Coming onto all 4s and starting to work through some cat and cow. Generating that movement from the pelvis. So pulling the pubic bone up, releasing the head, release the tail, and then sending the pubic bone through the legs, starting to arch into the lower, into the mid, into the upper back. Head lifts last. And we'll work through that a few more times here. Breathing in and out through the nose. And trying to go nice and slow and controlled. And then let's make our way back towards a neutral spine. So gentle arch in the lower back. Push the floor away, puff up the space between the shoulder blades. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, puff it up, squeeze it together. We'll just feel that movement of the shoulder blades on the back of the body here. And then we'll pause somewhere in the middle. We'll try to make circles with the shoulder blades in one direction. And then we'll make circles in the opposite direction, making it as smooth as we can, maybe noticing if one direction feels smoother than the other, and then we'll pause somewhere in the middle and stay. We'll bring that right foot towards the buttocks, right knee towards the chest, and then try to circle that right hip a couple times in either direction. And then let's switch directions. That's it. And then when the knee's lifted out to the side, we'll straighten out the leg and take the whole sole of the foot to the floor. I'm just going to turn around to mirror you. You stay where you are. And then here, we're just going to hinge forwards and back. The toes of that right foot are pointing straight ahead. The foot is in line with the left knee. Breathing there and just noticing whatever sensation is there for you in the inner thigh. Let's do 2 more like this. Okay, come back to center. Take your left hand more or less underneath the center of your chest. Push that hand into the floor. Inhale, peel the right arm up towards the ceiling. And then we'll exhale and we'll weave that all the way through. And then we'll inhale, push the hand into the floor. Lift the breastbone, lift the chest. Exhale, twisting through the spine, weave it all the way through. Keep going with that. Inhale to lift and exhale to weave it through. Inhale to lift and exhale to weave it through. One more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to weave it through and stay. Now, you're going to take that right hand all the way down to the floor. The head, side of the head can either rest on the floor or it can rest on a block. And then come up onto your left fingertips. Push the floor away. Try to open the chest any amount towards the ceiling. Breathing there. And then we'll slowly make our way back up. Good. And we'll come back onto all fours. Sweep that leg back behind you. Take the knee to the floor and pause. Okay, from here, we're going to exhale, tuck the tail. Inhale to stay. Exhale, hinge back towards your heels. Inhale to stay. And then lift the tailbone and hinge forwards on the exhalation. Inhale to stay here. Exhale, tucking the tail, rounding the lower back. Inhale, stay. Exhale, hinging back towards your heels. Inhale, stay, stretching out that tissue of the lower back with your breath, and then lifting the tailbone and hinging forwards. Exhale to tuck. Inhale to stay. Exhale to hinge. Inhale to stay. Lift the tailbone. Hinge forwards. Exhale to tuck. Inhale to stay. Exhale to hinge. Inhale to stay. And then exhale, we're going to roll up the back one vertebrae at a time, coming up into a high kneeling position. Staying here. Take your hands to the front of your hips. We're going to inhale, hinge with a neutral spine. And then exhale, tuck the tailbone. Rolling up the back one vertebrae at a time, slowly with control. Coming all the way back up to a high kneeling position. Inhale to stay here. Exhale, hinging back, neutral spine. Exhale to tuck the tailbone, rolling up the back one vertebrae at a time, slowly with control, coming all the way up to high kneeling. And one more like that. Inhale, hinge, neutral spine. Exhale, tuck and roll. And then we'll come back down onto all fours. Neutral spine, exhale, engaging pelvic floor, deep abdominals. Take the left foot towards the buttocks, left knee to chest, circling the left hip a couple times in either direction. And then switching directions, trying to make as complete a circle as possible. And then when the left knee is lifted out to the side, we'll straighten the leg, take the whole sole of the foot to the floor and stay. I'm just going to turn around to mirror you again. And then we're going to start to hinge forwards and back. Toes of that left foot pointing straight ahead. The foot's in line with the knee. Left foot in line with the right knee. Breathing here. Noticing that sensation into the inner thigh. That's it. Keep going. Good. Okay, one more, and then we'll come back to the center and pause. Taking the left hand to the center, or taking the right hand, to the center of the chest. Push that hand down into the floor. Peel the left arm up, and then exhale. We'll leave it through. And inhale to lift. And exhale to weave it through. And inhale to lift. And exhale to weave it through. Two more like this. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We'll come all the way down onto that left shoulder, side of the head to the floor or onto a block. Come up onto the right fingertips push the floor away. Open the breastbone towards the ceiling, any amount. Take one more breath here. And then we'll slowly make our way back up onto our hands and our knees. Sweeping that leg back behind you, take the knee to the floor. Coming back onto all fours. Exhale, tuck the tail. Inhale to stay. Exhale, hinging back towards the heels. Inhale to stay. And exhale as you roll up the spine. One vertebrae at a time. Coming up into a high kneeling position. Head lifts last. All right, we're going to inhale, hinge with a neutral spine. Exhale, tuck the tailbone. Rolling up the back. One vertebrae at a time, head lifts last. Inhale, hinge, neutral spine. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, rolling up the back. Sweep the arms up and over the head so that the arms and the head lift last. And then when you get to the top, we'll draw the arms into a W shape. Lift the breastbone, lift the gaze, and look up. And then we'll exhale to release. Inhale to hinge. Exhale to tuck the tailbone. Roll up the back. One vertebrae at a time, slowly with control. Lift the breastbone, lift the gaze, look up. And exhale to release. Let's do two more like that. Inhale to hinge. Exhale to tuck and roll. Inhale at the top. W arms, lift the breastbone, lift the gaze. And exhale to release. Last time. Inhale to hinge. Exhale to tuck and roll. Inhaling at the top. And exhaling to release. Good. Let's come back onto the hands and the knees. Neutral spine. We're going to tuck the toes under. Come into a nice deep cat. Press out into the fingertips. Lift the hips and the knees up and back. Come high up on the toes. Push the hands into the floor and send your chest towards your thighs. And then we're going to slowly lengthen the inner heel down towards the floor. Pausing there, sending the chest to the thighs. Sending the energy of the breath into the backs of the legs or down towards the calves, into the ankles. Push the hands strongly into the floor and breathe. And then let's shift forwards towards a plank position and pause, puffing up the space between the shoulder blades. Tuck the tailbone, scoop the belly in, reach back through the heels. Two more breaths here. And then from the lower belly, lift the hips, downward facing dog, and pause. Good, and then inhale, shift forwards towards plank again. Puff up the space between the shoulder blades, tuck the tail, scoop the belly in, reach back through the heels. And then from the lower belly, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And one more time, shifting forwards to plank. This time we'll take the knees to the floor, untuck the toes. Exhale, elbows bend any amount. Inhale to straighten and exhale to hinge back. Inhale to hinge forwards. Shoulder blades move down the back away from the ears. Elbows bend any amount. Inhale, straighten and exhale, hinge back. Generating this movement from your hips. Breathing in and out through the nose. As the elbows bend, keeping the collarbones broad. That's it. Let's do two more. All right, and then the next time we come forwards, let's come all the way down onto the belly, pointing the toes, reaching the arms out over the head, making yourself as long as you can. Inhale as you peel the chest open, lengthen, look forwards, and then draw your hands back and try to find a W arm shape. Get those hands up above the elbows. Sweep the hands back by your hips, and then butterfly the arms forwards. W arms, sweep it back. Butterfly forwards. Two more. Get those hands up above the elbows. Try to feel that bottom tip of the shoulder blade firming into the back of the body. And then we'll exhale to release. You can give your hips a little sway side to side. We'll take the hands underneath the shoulders, press back through a puppy pose. And then up and back to downward facing dog. Lift the heels up high. Go ahead, straighten the right leg, bend into the left knee. Pause and take a couple breaths there as if you could breathe into the back of the leg, pushing the hands into the floor. And then switching sides. And pause and breathe. And then one more time, right leg. And one more time, left leg. And then we'll lift both the heels up high, bend the knees, look to the hands, step or walk the feet forwards, bringing the feet to about hip distance apart. Inhale as you peel the chest open, neutral spine, and exhale to fold. Inhale to come all the way up to standing. Arms lift, chest lifts, lengthen, look up. And exhaling, Samastitihi. We'll pause here. Hands can stay in prayer or rest on the chest or the belly. Softening the gaze, maybe closing the eyes. And just noticing the breath in and out through the nose. Letting the shoulders soften down the back. Being here now. And then when you're ready, you can exhale, release the arms, open the eyes. Inhale, we'll float the arms up. And exhale, hinge and fold over the hips. Draw your ribs in, engage your abdominals here. Inhale, peel the chest open, neutral spine. Exhale, we're going to step the left foot back, keep the right foot forwards, come down onto the left knee, point the left toes. Inhale, sweep the arms up, neutral or low lunge. Dragging that left hip forwards, draw the belly back, and then hold the left wrist lifted up, take it over towards the right. And breathing there. Inhale as you come back to center, release the wrist, lift the arms. Inhale, exhale, zipping everything in, twisting to the right. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale to twist. Inhale back to center. One more time. Exhale to twist and stay. Taking the left hand to the outside of the right knee, bending that back elbow, the right elbow. Inhale, deepen the twist. Push the hand into the knee. And exhale to release. And inhale to deepen the twist. And exhale to release. One more time. Inhale to deepen. And exhale, release hands by the sides. Inhale, float them up. And exhale, take the hands down to either side of that front foot. And we'll hinge forwards and back. Now, as you hinge forwards, keep your heel down. As you hinge back, keep your toes down. Breathing there, challenging the elasticity at the knee and the ankle. And then using your right hand and pulling the skin on the top of the foot forwards as you hinge back. Pull the skin forwards. Pull the skin forwards. And then we'll come back to center and pause. Maybe the blocks come to a higher height, maybe not. That's up to you and what your body feels good with. Inching the foot further forwards though, flexing the ankle so the toes point straight up. Press the heel of that right foot down into the floor, draw the sitting bone back. So we're looking for a sensation of engagement in these muscles in the back of the thigh, but also tension, sensation of stretching there. And then without letting the pelvis move, we're going to try to rotate that thigh bone in and out. And in and out. Breathing there. Good. All right, and then let's come back to center. You can windshield wiper now the foot left to right. That's it. And then we'll come back to center. Bring that foot in so the ankle is below the knee. Taking a block to the outside of the ankle. Turn the right toes out about an extra centimeter. Resist the leg into the arm. So push the leg into the arm. Tuck your left toes under. Straighten out the left leg. Push the right leg into the right arm and use that to take the left heel to the floor. Draw your thigh bones into the hip sockets and then lead with the left arm. We're going to stand right up into a Virabhadrasana B. Warrior B. Shoulders are above the hips. Hips are open to the side. Gaze is steady in one spot, wherever it feels good for your neck right now. Breathing here. Two more breaths. Rotate your palms to face up, and then we'll straighten the front leg, lift the arms up and over the head, hook the thumbs, lift up and out of the pelvis. And then let's take the hands to the hips, and we'll just play with this hip hinge here a few times. And then we're going to hinge from the hip. So the right hip drops back, left hip wraps forward, slide down that front leg. Try to lengthen both sides of the waist. So that right side of the waist, the underside of the waist, has to lengthen as much as the top side of the waist. Fingertips could come to the shin, the thigh, or the block. Left hand could stay on the hip, or the left arm could lift. And again, keep the gaze steady. Breathing here. And then exhale, look down towards the front foot. We'll come to the toes of the back foot, hands to the floor or the blocks. We're going to take a few bounces into that right knee. Bounce, bounce, bounce. And then we're creating a little bit of springiness, some elastic energy. We're going to use that to step back to downward dog. Hands can come to the floor. Lift the heels up high, push the hands into the floor, send the chest to the thighs, and then we'll slowly lengthen that inner heel down towards the floor. Breathing as if you could breathe into the backs of the legs. And then we'll shift forwards towards a plank position and pause. Tuck the tail, scoop the belly in, reach back through the heels. And then we'll take the knees to the floor, or actually you could stay on your toes, your choice. We're going to slowly lower with control all the way to the belly. Keep the hands where they are. Inhale, come into a baby cobra. Squeeze your butt muscles, hover your hands off the floor, squeeze the elbows in, draw the hands back. And then we'll take the hands to the floor and try to pull ourselves through our arms any amount, maybe to a higher cobra, maybe the knees lift for upward dog. And then we'll take the knees down. Tuck the toes under and come back to downward facing dog. Push the hands into the floor, send the chest to the thighs. And then we're going to lift the right leg up and back. Bend the right knee into the chest, circle the right hip. Big full circles. And then switching directions. And then stepping that right foot forwards through the hands. Hands can be on the floor or the blocks, your choice. We're going to peel the right arm up towards the ceiling, push the left hand down into the floor or the block, and make big full circles with that right arm. Reach and rotate, and then switching directions. And then we'll take the right hand down, step the left foot forwards to meet the right. Inhale to lengthen neutral spine. Exhale to fold over the thighs. Strong legs. Inhale, standing up. Arms lift, chest lifts, lengthen, look up. And right away, we're going to hinge and fold. Inhale, peel the chest open, neutral spine. Exhale, stepping the right foot back. Keep the left foot forwards. Come down onto the right knee. Point the right toes. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Dragging that right hip forwards. Draw the belly back. Hold the right wrist, lift it up, take it over towards the left. Pausing there. One more breath. Inhale as you come back to center, release the wrist, lift the arms, inhale. Exhale, zip it all in, twist to the left. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale, zip it in, twist to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist and stay. Right hand to the outside of the left knee. Bend the left elbow. Inhale, push the hand into the knee to deepen the twist. And exhale to release. Inhale to deepen the twist. And exhale to release. And one more, inhale. And exhale, release, hands by the sides. Inhale, float them up. And exhale, take the hands down to the floor or the blocks, and we'll start to hinge forwards and back. Toes down, heel down. Toes down, heel down. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then you can use your left hand and pull the skin on the top of the foot forwards as you hinge back. Good, and then we'll slowly come back to center. Maybe the blocks come to a higher height. We're going to inch that foot a little further forwards. Flex the ankle, press the heel down, draw the sitting bone back. And then we're going to try to rotate the thigh bone in the hip socket. In and out. Trying to keep the hamstrings engaged and tensioned at the same time. That's it. Good. All right, and then let's try to windshield wiper the foot left to right. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then we'll come back to center and stay. You can bring the foot in, block to the outside of the ankle, turn those left toes out just about a centimeter, so just slightly off from center. Press the left leg into the left arm, straighten out the right leg, press the leg into the arm, take the right heel to the floor. And then leading with the right arm and standing up into your Virabhadrasana B. Shoulders above the hips, gaze is wherever it feels comfortable for the neck. Thigh bones are drawing into the hip sockets. Breathing here. That's it. 2 more breaths. Rotate the palms to face up. Straighten the front leg. Lift the arms up. Hook the thumbs. Lifting up and out of the pelvis. And then we'll take a few hinges from the hips so that left hip drops back and the right hip wraps forwards. And then we'll hinge and start to reach. Release the hook of the thumbs, lengthening both sides of the waist. Rotate through the ribcage, fingertips to the shin, the thigh, the block. Right hand can come to the hip, or the right arm could start to lift whatever feels good in your shoulder, keeping the gaze wherever it feels good for your neck. Breathing there. One more breath. And then we'll exhale, look down, come to the toes of the back foot, hands to either the floor or the blocks on the lowest or the middle height. And we'll take a few bounces into that left knee, trying to create a little bit of elastic energy there, some springiness, some momentum, and then we'll step back to downward facing dog and pause. Lift your heels up high for a moment, and then slowly send your inner heels towards the floor, and notice if anything is starting to shift and how you feel there. The tension through the back of the leg, maybe into the calf, the ankle. Push the hands into the floor, send the chest to the thighs. And then we'll slowly shift forwards towards plank and pause. Either taking a vinyasa of your choice or holding plank for a few extra breaths. And then we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up and back. Bend your left knee in towards your chest. We'll circle the left hip a couple times in either direction. And then switching directions. Stepping that left foot forwards through the hands. Hands can be on the floor or the blocks, your choice. Push your right hand down either into the floor or the block. Peel the left arm up towards the ceiling. And then we'll make big full circles with that left arm. Reach and rotate. And then switching directions. And then we'll take the left hand down, bend the right knee, step the right foot forwards to meet the left. Inhale, lengthen neutral spine. And exhale, fold over the thighs. Release the head. Inhale, strong legs, stand up. Arms lift, chest lifts, lengthen, look up. And then exhale, hands come down through center. Pausing here in Samasthiti. Hands can be in front of the heart. In prayer, resting on the chest or the belly. Softening the gaze, maybe closing the eyes. And just coming back to that movement in the rib cage as you inhale and exhale. Knowing that we don't need to believe our thoughts. Knowing that we don't need to identify with our thoughts. And choosing to clean our glasses, clean the lens through which we see the world as much as is available to us, as much as is possible for us in any given moment. Knowing that there are other possibilities, there are other perspectives that could be just as true as our own. And breathing here. When you're ready, we'll exhale, release the arms and open the eyes. All right, we're going to come and stand up on our blocks. If you want to be close to a wall for balance, please feel free to be close to the wall. We'll start with the left foot on the block. Spread the toes. Engage the inner arch. Pelvic floor, deep abdominals, glutes engaged. And then we're going to try to swing that right leg and the arms forwards and back as freely as possible. Breathing in and out through the nose. Trying to make that swing free and easy, feeling that momentum. It's like a pendulum carrying through. Do a few more here. And then we'll slow it down. And step off the blocks. And pat that hip out. And then we're going to switch sides. So step that right foot onto the block, spread the toes, try to engage the inner arch, turning on pelvic floor, deep abdominals, glutes, and then swinging the left leg and the arms forwards and back, doing our best to make this like a pendulum, freeing up that hip from the fascia to the best of our ability, bringing elasticity into our tissues. That's it. A few more here. And then we'll slow it down. And we'll step off. You can pat that hip out a little bit. Put your blocks off to the side. And then again, spreading the left toes. Root the left foot, inner arch, pelvic floor, deep abdominals. Without using your hands, take the right knee to the chest. We're going to try to lift that knee up as high as we can. Take the knee to the side. And then internally rotate the leg. Take it back behind you. And then through and up. One more in that direction. Knee to the side. Internally rotate. Take that leg back behind you, through and up. We're going to switch directions. Take the knee back. And then it's like you're jumping up and over a hurdle. You've got to try to get the foot up to come around and through. Take it back. Up and over the hurdle. Get the foot up, around and through. And then we'll release, shake it out. Switching sides, spread the toes, inner arch, pelvic floor, deep abdominals, glutes engaged. Left knee to chest, out to the side, internally rotate, around, through, and up. Knee to the side. Internally rotate, around, through, and up. And then take it back. Come up and over the hurdle, around and through. Take it back. Come up and over the hurdle, around and through, and shake it out. Okay, one more balance posture here. Spread the left toes, left inner arch, pelvic floor, deep abdominals, glutes engaged. Right knee to chest, knee to the side. Try to squeeze the foot in without letting the foot touch the leg. Squeeze it there. And then place that foot anywhere above or below the knee. And then you can adjust the foot position if you'd like. Foot can also be on the floor. You can have those toes on the floor to help you with balance if you'd like. And then hands can come to the heart, or the arms could start to lift. Breathing here through the nose. Gaze is steady in one spot, probably on the floor. That's going to help you balance. Take the gaze to the floor out in front of you. Keep the arms energized. 2 more breaths. And then we'll release the arms, release the legs, shake it out, and do the other side. Spread the toes, inner arch, pelvic floor, glutes, deep abdominals, left knee to chest, knee to the side. Try to squeeze that foot in, and then place the foot without using the hands anywhere on the leg, and then you can adjust the position of the foot if you'd like using your hands. Toes can come to the floor, and then hands can come to the heart, or the arms could lift. Your choice. And breathing here in and out through the nose. Keeping the gaze steady in one spot. That's going to help you balance. Breathing here. One more breath. And then we'll exhale, release the arms, release the legs, shake it all out. And then we'll come back to the front of our mat. Samasthiti. Spread the toes. Let's take a breath here. Hands can rest on the chest or the belly, or be in prayer position. Soften the gaze, close the eyes. Exhale, side out. Letting it go. Inhale again. Exhale, side out. Let it go. Last time. Let it go. Release the arms. Open the eyes. Inhale, float the arms up. And exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, peel the chest open, neutral spine. Exhale, stepping back, downward dog, plank, or a vinyasa of your choice. And then we'll meet in downward dog if we're not already there. Bend the knees, look to the hands, step, walk, or float through to sitting. Plant the feet flat on the floor. Take the hands behind the thighs. Pull on the thighs to come to the front edge of the sitting bones. Lift the breastbone, lift the gaze, look up. And then exhale. Start to scoop the belly in, rounding the back, rolling down one vertebrae at a time, slowly, slowly with control. Coming all the way down onto the belly, bend the knees. Bring the feet in somewhat close towards the buttocks, or as close as feels comfortable, so you can just barely touch the backs of the heels with your fingertips. Press the elbows down into the floor. Draw the shoulder blades into the back. Press into the heels, squeeze the butt, inhale, lift the hips up. And then we'll release the arms. Walk the shoulders a little bit closer to each other. Interlock the hands, press down through the arms, squeeze the butt, lift the hips. Hands actually really don't need to be interlocked there, so feel free to not do that if that feels better for you. And then we'll slowly release, take the hips back down. Let's hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And then we'll slowly plant the feet flat on the floor. Lift the hips up. Take the hips over to the left. Take the knees to the right. You could stick a bolster, your blanket, in between your legs here. Arms could be over the head into a cactus shape or out to the side, whatever feels better for you. Softening the gaze, maybe closing the eyes. And just letting the body be heavy here, melting down into the floor. Softening and releasing. And then let's slowly come back through center. Take the hips over to the right, take the knees to the left. A little gentle twist in the opposite direction. Letting the body be heavy and melt down into the floor. And then we'll slowly come back to center. Taking your blanket now for under your head. Kind of hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side. Maybe holding the outer edges of your feet and coming into a happy baby if that feels good. And then slowly releasing the feet. If you have something to place under your knees, go ahead and place something under your knees. Take your arms out to the sides. Release your legs to the floor. And exhale. Release down, letting the body be heavy. Melting into the floor. And breathing here, letting go. In a moment, I'm going to stop the recording, but I encourage you to stay here a little longer today if your life will allow, just absorbing the benefits of your practice. Acknowledging all of our efforts together today and sending the benefits of our practice out to all the beings in the world. May all beings everywhere be happy and free from suffering. May our practice be a gift we give ourselves and the world together at the same time. And namaste.